All right, here we go. Welcome back to the Game Smash podcast. As always, I'm your host, William Liberty, and with me is...
Boaz Muhammad Yusuf.
And today we got some stuff. We got the Chinese New Year event for Overwatch, Year of the Dog. We got Xbox Game Pass changes coming. We got Microsoft is interested in buying EA. We got Blake and Yang announced as free DLC for Cross Tag Battle. And then we got Evo Games announced, and Marvel Infinite is missing. So, before we get into that, let's talk about what we played this week. But before we get into that, just want to wish Fawaz a happy birthday. I totally remembered, and I was not reminded by Skype at all.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I
Yeah,
appreciate
there we
that.
So what I played this week, so basically, you're going to be hearing this for a while. Guess what? I played Monster Hunter. Big shocker. Truly a shocker. I'm farther into high rank. I beat Nergigante, and yeah, he's a fucking wall for me. The weird thing about that fight is that when I fought him alone for the first time,
Yeah.
I actually beat him on the first try. I died once, but then I came back and I was able to kill him. It was still a tough fight, but it wasn't like a brutal one to a certain extent. The second time I fought him with Alex, oh boy! It was at first it was just a cruise. It was just a cruise. We got the moves down pat. We've got everything memorized. We know what to do. Then we get to and he's literally got the skull icon on the map. So he's like 10%.
Okay.
He's got 10% health left. We go to the final area, and we proceed to die 4 times.
Wow.
Which is like that's when you die 4 times, it's literally like that's game over. The quest has failed. And what we realized is that fight won because we're doing a 2-man group. That particular fight is more difficult because when you're playing solo, the health is scaled down. So when you get to the final part, when you get to the camp, you can usually finish him off relatively quickly. And when you're playing with 4 people, well, your damage output is so high that usually it's not too much of a problem to get past that point, right? When you're playing with 2 people, he's just got enough health that little last part of the fight is a little bit longer than usual, and the cats aren't really making up for the damage that you really need. And he has got it always comes down to his one move. And it was funny because Alex told me about the thing about him that's really, really fucking dangerous. Is that
spikes once they get blocked?
Yeah, it's not even that. It's not the spikes that's the problem. The problem is that you really, really want earplugs. Because he's got a move that what he does is that he'll grow spikes, and the spikes on his back will grow black, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when that happens, he will then proceed to roar, and if you're close by, you'll be stunned by the noise, right? And you'll have to kind of like stagger a bit. When he does this, he will fly up into the sky, and he will fucking Psycho Crusher into the goddamn ground, and it is almost an instant kill. Like, pretty much guaranteed an instant kill. Even with high level armor. So that move is like that move right there. That's the TPK move. That's the move that will wreck your respawns or wreck your lives, because if you get hit by the roar, he can combo into it perfectly. So you really have to be cautious. And when we fought him the third time, it was more the second time me and Alex took on this guy. It was much more stressful because, and the way he described it was that last 10% feels like a second fight because it feels like he has it's like the classic thing where you feel like he has limiters, and then all the limiters have been unleashed. and his moves become much more dangerous. And the other thing is that final area is small.
Mm-hmm.
It's a small area, so that particular super move is more likely to hit. It's not like when if you're fighting, because basically when you're fighting him in the big open areas, he's not that hard to dodge. But when you're fighting him in really tight areas with not a whole lot of space, you got to be really, really careful. But yeah, so I started. I made a hammer out of him, so I was pretty happy about that.
Okay.
Trying out the hammer is pretty interesting. I will say this: I've never been the greatest at the hammer. I find that I get hit really often when I use the hammer, personally, and when I'm using like katana or dual blades, I barely get hit at all. So I don't know if I just suck.
Well, the hammer's attacks have more recovery than the katana or the dual blades, right? So you gotta time your shit properly. You gotta find your opening, and you gotta know the monster's recovery, because if you swing
Yeah.
and the monster's already recovered, then yeah,
You're you're
you're probably getting smacked.
you're probably getting smacked real hard, yeah.
Yeah.
Other than that, still really, really, really enjoying the game. The only thing is, I don't particularly care for the decoration system in this because it's different from the older games.
Mm.
So basically, the decoration system in this is that you will basically you'll occasionally get items, mining items, or quest rewards that you basically roll for it, and you'll get a decoration. Now,
Okay.
in the old games, you could just go and mine materials to make decorations, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so if you, let's say, hey man, I want to spec health. I'm going to go fight a bunch of Rathians and get a bunch of +5 health, right? Or like, like it. But the way that the skill system worked was different because every armor gave you points, and you had to reach a certain point value to get the ability to activate. So for example, armors would have like a combined total of like +10 like earplugs, and that would give you earplugs. Like literally, it would give you the ability. But in this, they wanted to streamline it in a little bit, and basically you get a decoration, you could put it on your armor, and you get a tiny bit of that ability. But if you get more decorations or more armor that just naturally have that, it will stack, and you'll get upgraded into that particular ability. It's just I find that the decorations are so hard because you just get trash decorations almost all the time, and you can re-roll them, but the amount of decorations you have to sacrifice to re-roll, basically you have to meld them together to make a new one, and it's like
Yeah.
I mapped it out. With the garbage ones I've rolled, I would have to sacrifice 10 decorations to re-roll one time, and then it's like I'm gonna roll shit, and then it's gonna be all for nothing.
Mm.
So that's the only thing I'm not a particular fan of. But other than that, still having fun. That's basically what I did this week. What about you, Fawaz?
Um. So yeah, mostly played Monster Hunter actually.
Hey.
I settled on my team in Dragon Ball, but like here's the thing, Monster Hunter is just easier to play because with Dragon Ball, I boot the game up. I'm like, okay, so my team's gonna be Adult Gohan, Frieza, and Kid
Mm-hmm.
Buu. Okay, let's start looking up combos for these characters because, like I said, the combo system in the game is trash. So I go
Mm-hmm.
on YouTube and I start looking up combos and stuff, and then like it's just when you only have like an hour to play, you don't really have time to be spending that time researching versus just playing. With Monzon, I can just pick it up and I can just play. And sure, I need to do a little bit of research here and there, but it's just easier. So I play a little bit. I find, and also Monzon actually has an end versus this that it's just I'm just playing because I'm not gonna play that stuff mode.
Oh, the
And
DBZ one. Yeah.
I've just decided I'm never going to get Android 21 because I'm just never going to be, at least not until like the summer when I have actual time.
Yeah.
If I have like only a little bit of time to play video games, I'm gonna waste the time playing a mode I don't enjoy.
Yeah. Exactly.
So, so yeah, I played Monster Hunter. Plus, I felt like I was close to higher rank, so I just played it. I beat, quote unquote, beat Zora Magdaros, and yeah, I made
Part
it to
two.
high rank.
Nice, nice.
Um, uh, yeah, it was interesting because the first mission you have to hunt like a Puke Puke, and then
Hmm.
you're beating the shit out of him, and it's like, huh, this dude is taking a lot more damage than no. Honestly, for me, I realized it was high rank when they were like, oh, go on an expedition to the Wild Spyways, and I go there, and then I see like a mining thing, and I mine, and I start getting elements I've never gotten before, and I'm like, huh, huh. Then I get to the Puke Puke and I start beating the shit out of him, and he has like three times the amount of health the regular one does, and I'm like, yeah. So when I saw that Diablos, I was like, yeah, I'm not doing
Not
this.
even. It's like nope, nope, all kinds of nope.
Yeah, pretty much, because yeah, because obviously I had to beat Diablos and Rathalos to get there, and yeah, I bodied both of them. It's funny because I have this really bad habit of hoarding materials and hoarding
Right. Yeah.
resources. So I was fighting Rathalos and I was not using this flash pod that I've
Flash
been
mode. Yeah.
saving for Rathalos. So then I was like, huh, why do I even have these if I'm not gonna use them for the burst? So I just busted out the flash pods and yeah, it was free. At that point, it was just completely free because it's just like you stun. If he's flying and you hit him with a flash pod, he actually falls down and he
Yeah.
gets stunned. You get like full big bang combo on him. So
Mm.
that was free. And then we added like my Palico's stuns. Then yeah, it was.
Oh yeah.
And
By
then I
the
beat.
way, I finally found the equipment for that because I played a couple sessions with you and I was like, oh, that's a fucking great ability for him to have. So I'm starting to use that and it's quite good.
I know, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's you just stun the monster, and now and then now I'm trying to get a paralysis hammer so I can just like stun lock the monster. We'll see, we'll see how well that works out.
Hmm.
But yeah, I still a high rank. It's cool. I got the Zora Magdaros hammer, so I'm gonna test that out,
Nice.
see how good that is, and I'm gonna start crafting a set of high rank bone armor. So the alpha armor is the one that gives you the armor set bonus,
Yeah.
and then the beta armor is the one for if you want to mix and match armor pieces, right?
Yeah, the beta is there's slots on it.
Mm,
So you can generally put more customization into it with decorations, and the alpha
mm,
is the one that usually has like the actual. When you're making the armor, most of them will have like a separate like Ligana armor stat, or like they'll have like a separate ability that has like a 2 or a 4 next to it. And that
okay.
basically means you need to be wearing 2 of the armor pieces from this set
Mm-mm.
to get this ability,
Yeah,
and you need to be
yeah.
wearing 4 to get the other one. So that's how it works in high rank.
Okay.
Also, cool thing is that you can customize pigment in high rank, which I was really happy
Yeah,
to
yeah,
see.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can like color cord because one of the reasons why I don't match armor sets is because it always looks ugly as sin.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, now I might since I can like mix the colors and stuff. So we'll see about that. But yeah, all in all, I mean, on one hand, it kind of sucks because it feels like you're starting from square one again. But on the flip side, now I can get to like the real juicy stuff and
Hmm.
like the because there's a bunch of monsters that I know are in the game but I've never seen, right?
Right.
Because I'm not in high rank. There's an entire area that I couldn't get to because I wasn't in high rank. So yeah,
Hmm.
now I can stop messing around with this stuff
Hmm.
and I'm excited. But yeah, fun stuff, fun
Stuff.
stuff.
So
But yeah,
we go to kick in the
speaking of
news.
fun stuff, yeah, Overwatch and Blizzard announced the Chinese New Year event is coming back. They showed the trailer. It looks cool. I think Mercy Farah, Genji, Zarya, Widowmaker.
Hmm.
Yeah, Mercy, Farah, Genji, Zarya, Widowmaker all get skins. We have some pretty good ones. The Zarya one's dope. The weapon looks pretty cool.
Hmm.
How do you feel about the Mercy one? Are you just like, well, it doesn't matter. The queen is dead.
Well, yeah, it would have been more appropriate if it was just they just cut to a tombstone during that trailer. But no, actually, I think the Mercy skin looks pretty cool. overall. I think that was actually, this is one of the events I was really excited for because I feel like I really like the skins for the Chinese New Year event. I loved them last year, and this year
Yeah.
they seem to be just as good. I'm glad to see Zarya's got a new. I'm glad to see Zarya's starting to get skins that aren't trash.
Yeah, believe me, I agree with that sentiment. Also, funny little bit of they also added a patch, and the patch lets you change skins mid match now.
Yeah, I heard about that. That's super super cool.
Yeah, so that's because one of the reasons why I kind of lost interest was because I'm like, well, if I have one skin that I like, I don't really see the point in having like six because I can only wear one at a time.
Yeah.
Because like Zenyatta, for example, I have three skins. There's one I have three legendary skins. One of them I've never used because I'm just like, eh. So yeah, now you can swap skins mid match. It's not a big deal, but it's nice little quality of life there. Sorry, excuse me. Yeah, I might hop on Overwatch a little bit. Probably won't, but I might, hop on it a little bit. For the events, try it out. See if I can at least get that Zarya skin. I have 3,000 credits, but I really don't want to buy anything because I only have 3,000 credits and I don't really play the game anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so like if like the Uprising event happens this year and it's like Talon, I will get like a really cool like Talon Moira skin or something like that, and I'm like, shit, I wish I still had all those credits, right?
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
We'll see. We'll see. It's also gonna be 4 weeks. They rebalanced capture the flag. Yeah, they were like, you guys had so much fun with it last year. We're gonna completely redesign it. Thank God, because I hated capture. I think I mentioned
yeah. No, that we literally had like I think you had like a 30-minute meltdown about how much you hated capture the flag.
Like I genuinely started to hate Overwatch because of how stupid that mode was.
Yeah.
So yeah, Blizzard said the one thing that they said they reduced the amount of draws, a bunch of other things that they changed. They made a map designed specifically for capture the
flag. See that was the bigger difference is that they really didn't design a map for capture the flag, and some of them you could feel like there was one, I think it was the Chinese map. It's one of the versions of it that it's just a big circular area, like.
Yes.
Yeah, that one. That one was especially because it's like a bunch of hallways that lead to a circular area. That one in particular was so busted because if you had a good enough team of like Tracers and Genjis and stuff like that, you could just beeline for the flag, get it, and be back in almost like 15 seconds. Like, it was like, there was like almost like no travel time at all. Like, literally, it would be like, bam, you would get it in like 7 seconds, and then you would be back by the 15 mark. And I was on a team with Genji and Tracer, and I didn't have to fucking do anything. All you had to do was make it so that they couldn't get past the choke point, which was easy. And then it was just like they didn't have a chance. So it was, and even though I won, I was like, this is so fucking stupid.
Yeah. The other thing is that they mentioned that a bunch of heroes are getting reworks. So Mei, Symmetra, Torbjorn, and Hanzo and Sombra have changes incoming. Some are going to be. They really sound like all of them have like significant changes incoming, so that's going to be interesting to see.
Mm-hmm.
They mentioned some of the proposed changes to Sombra. She's not going to be able to charge her ultimate using hacked health packs anymore. But then the trade-off is that one, they're going to reduce the spread on her gun, and two, they're going to reduce the cooldown on her. No, they're going to reduce the hack time from 0.8 seconds to 0.6.
Okay.
So yeah, maybe hacking is going to become more of a thing, and then they also increase the number of abilities that hacking affected.
Okay.
So passive ability, they were like practically anything that requires a button press, you can't use anymore once you hack. So Genji's wall climb, apparently you can't. Genji's wall climb. Lucio's passive. So like if she hacks the Lucio, his passive, whatever it is, whatever song he's on, just stops.
Wow.
Pharah's hover jets. There's a bunch of things that they added. So we'll see. I mean, this is always a risky gambit because hacking it's one of those abilities that's not very fun to play against. You know, you get hit with a hack and you can't do anything anymore.
Yeah,
It
like
gets you returned.
it reminds me of Silence in League. How
Yeah, exactly.
there's one here champion from League called LeBlanc that it was just so fucking annoying to deal with her silence because she could it's funny because she had a lot of things like Sombra. She could teleport and she could silence. So
Yeah, because like there's certain heroes who like don't care, you know.
Mhm.
Like if you're playing Reinhardt and you're in the front line and you get hacked, you're like, okay, I'm just gonna keep swinging my hammer. Congratulations.
Yeah.
But other heroes like Genji, for example, who are very very based around their abilities,
Hmm.
like the only thing that he can do after getting hacked is double jump and throw shurikens.
Yeah.
So that so like we'll see how this plays out.
Hmm.
We'll see if this even makes it to live. This isn't even on the PTR patch yet. Then
Hmm.
same thing with Hanzo. They said they're looking into Scatter Arrow because it's been a problem from day one. People have always hated Scatter Arrow. I still hate Scatter Arrow. So like I can live with them like completely taking the move out.
Yeah.
Torbjorn and Symmetra, Torbjorn, Symmetra and Ney, they didn't mention what changes they were looking at, but these are also heroes that have always had issues.
Hmm.
Mei specifically, Mei
Hmm.
was like they buffed her ultimate once, and she became really really popular. And
Yeah.
then they nerfed it because it was too strong, and then she's been
Disappeared
completely
basically.
irrelevant. She's been completely irrelevant ever since. Torbjorn has just never ever been relevant. Outside of the good old hero stacking days of six Torbjorns.
Oh
Yeah,
God, those were the days. Jesus
it
Christ.
is, man. When you walk, when you're trying to capture a point, and it's like molten core after molten core after molten core. Man, those were good times.
Yeah.
And then same Symmetra. Symmetra's just never been good. I mean, Torba at least had the six
Well,
stacking.
I say that I liked because basically Symmetra got reworked, and I
Mm-hmm.
had more fun with the rework, and I still use Symmetra. Like, I like using her on specific maps, like defensive. I absolutely love using Symmetra on Nubani. Because I have very specific strategies as far as like turret control and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that she's definitely not one of the top like competitive ones. But I've had fun
I mean,
using her. I
yeah. I mean,
agree. I agree with you in the sense where it's like she definitely is not the strongest.
yeah, she's not very strong. And even not from competitive, just even from like a quick play pick rate, her pick rate isn't very high. So yeah,
Hmm.
they're looking into those heroes. The one hero that they will not be touching anytime soon is Mercy because he was like because people have been complaining and he was like that what it's early there's we don't have enough like info on the new changes to start looking to revert them so y'all should strap on for the long haul because
Yeah,
yeah he's like
yeah,
we're gonna
I know, and I think it was last podcast or one before that where I basically shared my spiel about that. I disagree with it entirely, but I was like, okay, well, it's gonna be a month or two, and then maybe I'll be able to go back to her with like open arms. But until they kind of realize that it's gonna be a while.
but yeah
I understand like I said but to be fair I do agree in the sense where it's like yeah they do have to kind of like let it sit for a while to get proper data, so it's not like they
mm-hmm.
can just flip a switch and go, okay, so it's back. It's like, what did we learn? Nothing. So that will
I
be.
mean, the only time they do that is with buffs.
Mm-hmm.
If you buff a character and the character just becomes too oppressive, like they did it with McCree and they
Mm-hmm.
did it with Bastion. But with nerfs, they never do that. They never like just revert them very quickly. They always wait.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens there. But that's pretty much what's happening in the world of Overwatch right now.
What is
Moving on
happening?
from that
Yeah.
though, some interesting shit's happening with Microsoft.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing is that Xbox Game Pass, which is pretty much their version of Netflix,
Yeah.
is going to start including new releases.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, you get Xbox Game Pass. They have a selection of games, but it's nothing. It's like games from like a year ago and stuff like that. But starting soon, it's going to start including games on day one. So, for example, Sea of Thieves is going to go straight to Xbox Games Pass as. God. yeah, Sea of Thieves is gonna go straight to Xbox Game Pass, and a couple of other games too. So yeah, yeah, this could be a pretty big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Like in fact, this seems like such a big deal that some independent what are these things called? Some independent retailers are boycotting Microsoft products.
Yeah. I. Yeah, I could see that's interesting because it's like I could see one problem with this is that one it's like okay you're getting the games for free, um, then that I'm trying to because it's
I
like
mean, it's not for
well it's
free.
not
It's
technically
a
not for
monthly
free.
subscription, right?
Well yeah it's a subscription. I guess it's in the sense where it's like when you think about I guess retail, it becomes a really big issue because then it's like why would I even bother going into like a retail store at all if I can just have if it's going to be out on the pass? My question,
So you can own the game, right?
well, no, I know exactly. Like there are going to be people who don't give a shit. I give a shit about the physical copy, but okay. Here's my second question about this pass: are the
Hmm.
games going to be there consistently, or is it going to be in and out, kind of like how Netflix does it?
I don't know. Like, I cannot answer that question.
Because that's honestly the curious thing for me. Is this a situation in which, let's say Sea of Thieves comes out day one on this pass, you get to play it, and then you really like it, and it's one of those games that's it's supposed to be like Sea of Thieves is being advertised as like you get drunk with your friends and you play as pirates, right? You have just a good, fun, goofy time,
Hmm.
right? It's not like a one and done. It's meant to be like something you just go back to when you want to shoot the shit. So if that is that if that's on the pass for like 4 months and then it's like okay time it gets removed, then does that mean like oh I guess if you wanted to play that you missed your opportunity kind of deal, and then and that becomes because to a certain extent like how I see it is that it could be good for the consumer with this
Yeah.
because it would allow people to have the pass. They can play the game for a long time, like probably for months on end. And then if they really, really like it, then they can bite down on the purchase. And sometimes if they're lucky, they'll probably be at a cheaper price.
Yeah. This is true. I guess what they're because this on paper this seems very good for the consumer and bad for retailers.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a couple of other elements at play here. One is that a lot of video games, good old fashioned DLC and microtransactions. So the core purchase of the game isn't as that $60 or 90 in Canada that the developers will be losing isn't as big of a deal if you have like for example a little big planet type game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where you buy the game but then you end up spending more on the game than you did buying the game. The other thing the other thing is that, like I said, you don't own the games. And the moment you cancel your subscription, because you can download the games, you can play them in like offline mode. Similar to on Netflix, you can download movies and watch them offline. But the moment your subscription gets canceled, you lose access to those games. So you never actually own the games. So that's one. This isn't really a negative per se, but that's one reason why some gamers might still
Yeah. Okay,
stick
okay,
with.
okay. Actually have another question. Sorry, I keep grilling you on this. So this is something that I don't even understand about Netflix, but that you can download the game and play it offline, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So, but you're downloading the game like a basically it's like a real download essentially. It's a
Uh huh.
digital version. So, if you cancel the subscription, you can still technically play it, or is it just because you said you could play it offline,
Uh
and
huh.
I'm just like so you could technically still play any game that you've downloaded.
Uh-huh. Oh yeah, I see what you're saying. So here's the thing. And for this one, I'll need to double check this, but the impression I'm getting is that it's a situation where you need to connect to the internet once every like X amount of days. Otherwise, the game just stops working.
Okay. Yeah, you know what? That would make sense. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Because that was
Because
always
yeah, no,
something that was always
Netflix.
something that I was like, if you can, the moment that this becomes a thing, like, wouldn't couldn't you just literally just download shit forever, and
Yeah.
just
I mean, these dudes aren't idiots.
yeah,
Well,
yeah,
they are, but if there's one thing I know is that they love their money, so they wouldn't overlook something so obvious.
yeah, easily exploitable.
Yeah, so obviously exploitable. So yeah, we'll see how this plays out. This is a pretty big deal though.
Hmm.
Like this could realistically be one of those things that we look back on in like 15 years and go, hey, remember when we used to buy video games? Yeah, that doesn't really happen anymore. Shout out to Xbox Game Pass. But this is a big deal for Microsoft because they haven't been doing shit as we've mentioned
Yeah.
on multiple occasions. Microsoft have just been slacking for
Hmm.
the past like 2 or 3 years. So this might give them a nice little jolt of
Boost.
energy.
Because I'm very
And
curious. I'm very curious because I feel like it's a race to see who can get the video game equivalent of Netflix, right? Netflix gets
mhm,
tons and tons of money and owns like a huge portion of the streaming market. Like there's all these others, like when you think of like there's Amazon Prime and there's all these other like
mhm,
competitors, but none of them are going to be able to compare to the numbers that Netflix brings in and the amount of money that they're able to make. Like as soon as Netflix started like making like their own exclusives, like
mhm,
that became a big deal because then it became not only am I buying Netflix so I have access to movies, I'm buying Netflix so that I can get shows like Stranger Things or like Narcos and stuff like that because that's the only place to play them. And this would be very
yeah,
interesting if we see that equivalent with Microsoft because another thing that Microsoft has been struggling is with the exclusives. There's just no
yeah,
exclusives. So
no
this
exclusives.
could be potential for like imagine if this gets enough leeway and becomes popular enough, you have Xbox Game Pass exclusives. Like that would be very very interesting to see. I don't know if that necessarily be a good thing, but that would be an interesting way because I'm very curious which company is going to get the Netflix equivalent because
Yeah,
this
well, I mean,
could be
an Xbox Game Pass exclusive would just be an Xbox exclusive, right?
yeah. I guess that's true. You could just say that just an Xbox. Yeah, yeah. I'm overthinking it again. Hey, spoiler alert. I
Yep,
do. I
yep.
do that a lot.
You're overthinking it. Because yeah, Sea of Thieves is, I mean, it's not you can buy it if you don't have Xbox Game Pass, but
Mhm.
yeah, it's an Xbox exclusive that like me and you, we wouldn't be able to get it on PlayStation now. So
Yeah.
so yeah, but the other thing that Microsoft might be doing is actually getting exclusives because Xbox Game Pass, as cool as it is, it won't mean shit if there aren't any exclusives on Xbox One, which there aren't a lot of anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah, like word on the street is that they're trying to buy. There was a list of companies, EA, I think Valve, EA Valve's, the Blue Notes. Those are the guys who did um PUBG,
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah.
and yeah, there's a couple. Yeah, Bluehole, not Blue Notes. There's a couple of studios that Microsoft are considering. This is 100% a rumor, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Um, and the EA version is, I'm like, whew, that's a lot of money to buy EA.
Hmm.
Same with Valve. I mean, no, let's be fair, as big as Valve is, they're small time compared to Microsoft. But are they small time compared to Microsoft's games division? I don't know. This is
Valve.
all.
But I've already know the statement from Valve was like, no. That was basically the statement from Valve. Is that we are our own thing. We are not going to be bought, no matter how much money you throw at us. So it's like, and plus they have that because they basically own like a good portion of the fucking PC market, so they don't need to consider this. So
No.
like Valve, it's never gonna be happen, never gonna happen. And I'm fascinated by the prospect of EA being bought by Microsoft because like I'm very fascinated how that would go and whether that would lead, because that was somebody, because somebody pointed out to me that it's like, well, if Microsoft bought EA, then it would be like EA titles would actually probably become exclusives. Like,
not probably. They would become exclusives.
Yeah. Like in any Mass Effect game, God forbid, that comes out, I would probably never be able to play if it was bought by Microsoft. It would probably be an exclusive. Any of the what was the other?
No, not probably.
Okay.
It would be an exclusive.
Okay, fine. I don't like saying that, because then it takes all hope that I'll ever be able to play a good Mass Effect game ever again.
Like, oh yeah, Microsoft buys EA and then they go to publish Mass Effect on the PS4. Sure, that's going to happen. But no, like this, like the most realistic one is Bluehole Studios. The others are just not. I just don't see any world where EA sells them, like EA Microsoft buys EA. Like the entire EA Sports become Microsoft exclusives.
Right.
Mass Effect become Microsoft exclusives. Star Wars games become Microsoft exclusives.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's just never going to happen. So the Bluehole Studios is probably the most likely one.
Yeah.
You know, they're a small enough studio that I can see them. I don't think they will, because why would they right now? They have a very, very successful game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they don't seem like they're struggling, and like I don't see any benefits that this could bring to them, because they can still make more money by publishing PUBG on the PS4. Whereas if Microsoft bought them out, then you know you're locked into making that game on PC and on the Xbox for the next like decade or so.
Yeah, I remember. So, and personally, it's like they would have to fix the problem, which is PUBG on the Xbox One. Because PUBG on the Xbox One is a fucking nightmare.
It's still really popular on the Xbox One, so
it is.
So I guess the core elements of the game are still intact, but yeah, the game is not. It is not optimized for consoles. Let's just say that. The game was clearly built with PC. The game is clearly a PC port on a console game versus a straight up console game.
Yeah.
But all in all, filed it firmly under rumor, more specifically under highly unlikely rumor.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it's interesting enough. It's an interesting conversation starter, because that's the biggest thing. Microsoft hasn't released anything of note in a long ass time, so it's almost like maybe we could just buy companies that will make games for us. Maybe we can do that for a change.
I mean that's what companies do, right? Like, Sony doesn't make any game. They buy, they have their studios, and the studios just make games, right? The problem is that Microsoft's issue isn't solely that they don't have enough exclusive, it's that they just don't have a lot of studios. Seriously, I think Sony have more Japan studios than Microsoft have studios as a whole. So,
yeah, that's true.
Like, I haven't counted, but I wouldn't be surprised. Sony probably have more studios in Japan pure versus Microsoft in general. So yeah, getting more studios is the next step. Microsoft's issue is that they always close studios down. They lose them. They had Bungie and they lost them. They closed down the Age of Empires studio. I forget what they're called. They've closed down the what's that racing game that they used to make? Project Gotham.
Yeah.
They closed down the Project Gotham racing studio guys. They closed down Lionhead. They closed down like EA. Seriously. So I guess it'd be a match made in heaven.
Yeah, that was the other thing I was gonna say, because like, guess who else is also known for closing down everything, and that's EA.
So hey, maybe there's that. They can the two of them can be assholes together. But
it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be very interesting.
But yeah, Valve is firmly under the rumor category. Probably not going to happen.
Oh yeah. But you know what is going to happen? We're gonna get some free DLC for Cross Tag Battle. And that free DLC is hilarious to me, because Blake and Yang, they've been announced as free DLC for Cross Tag Battle. And I really feel that it was probably because somebody yelled at them, "Why the fuck are you advertising Ruby when you only have R&B?" Or sorry, R&W to be specific.
Yeah. So like, this is big news, because the biggest like the original announcements of the DLC shenanigans, like I said, it was upsetting on multiple levels, right? First
Yeah.
of all, the fact that half of the roster was going to be DLC, I was like, come on, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Then on the next level, the fact that this was a game with reused assets, but
Mm-hmm.
then they couldn't give us a 40 character roster at launch. And then on top of all of that, there was the fact that, it was a Ruby crossover and Ruby weren't all in it.
Yeah.
So I'm glad they fixed at least one of those issues. And then you add in the fact that apparently the game isn't going to be full price at launch. And then all of a sudden, this doesn't seem that bad of a situation anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Now the question is, were they always going to be free, or was it a situation where they wanted to be a bunch of assholes, and then the backlash made them realize that maybe we shouldn't be assholes right now?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm leaning more towards the latter because I'm eternally a cynic. But the former is possible too, because they showed that whoever their PR person doesn't deserve their job, because this whole situation, like I said on the last podcast, was just not handled well.
Yeah.
Like they said, they were like, the plan was to release the game cheap,
Mm-hmm.
and have a smaller roster, and then if people enjoy the core game, because then that barrier of price isn't there, and if people enjoy the core game, then they can buy the DLC. This
Mm-hmm.
wasn't mentioned in the original announcement. It was just 20 characters at launch, 20 characters as DLC, right? That's just like, there's no way you don't see that
Yeah.
people are going to be happy about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I'm glad Yang and Blake are making the game. They both look awesome.
Yeah. Oh, God.
We only saw the artwork for Yang, and we saw some footage for Blake.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, the Yang looks cool, Blake looks cool.
Yeah. Just to specifically say, because I was like, I feel like that it was also like perspective, because the way that they got announced was like the worst they could have possibly done it. But it was also like, if they had done, like, they could have done this plan and it would have been a lot less painful if they had just picked the timing, because it's always I have pretty much stated that it is always never a good thing to start talking about DLC in detail, not even in vague, but in detail before the game is even out. Like, it's
Yeah.
always a really, really bad. So, because like I think we talked about this last time, but if they had just released the game, said that there's going to be 20 characters in the base game, and that's it, and then slowly over time they announced DLC for it, then that probably would have gotten a whole lot less backlash. But the fact that it was so transparent about what was going to happen, it was just a mess. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know how to feel about it. But then again, like, I feel glad that Blake and Yang are in the game. I do, but I agree with you, at least I agree with the cynic in you, that they probably were going to charge for Blake and Yang, but then they realized, Jesus Christ, we need to get some good PR for a change for this game.
Yeah. And yeah, I do. I mean, now the flip side of the argument about announcing DLC before launch is that, it's good to let people know what they're getting into before they bought the game. As frustrating as it was, I feel like it is better, because here's the thing: whether or not they announce the extra DLC, 20 characters at launch would have been disappointing, and so I feel like it's better to give people all the information. Now, I think where we can both agree is that the way they gave us the information was handled very poorly.
Exactly.
But you know what? Like, it's good. Now the game, at the very least, I can consider buying the game again. Because once I saw the whole DLC nonsense, I just forgot about the game. But now, hey, who knows? Like, I need a 2v2 fighter, since the other one that came out is Ripperino. So hey, maybe this will be the game that I pick up.
Sure. Hey, speaking of Ripperinos, so Fawaz, would you like to announce the games for EVO 2018?
So yeah, on the 6th of February, the the Evo people, I forget what they're called. Evo, let's just go with that.
Yeah.
They had a little they had a little stream to announce to announce the 8 games that are going to be at Evo 2018. And the games go as this: Tekken 7, Super Smash Bros. Wii U, Street Fighter 5 Arcade Edition, Dragon Ball Fighter, Super Smash Bros. Melee, Guilty Gear, Xrd, Rev 2, Injustice 2, and Blaze Blue Cross that. Now, if you listen to that list and you're like, there's a specific franchise that is not being represented there, you'd be right, because this is the first time in. I did some research, and the numbers might be wrong here, but this is the first time since Evo started, since Evo became Evo, that a Marvel game wasn't on Evo.
Yeah,
There's been a Marvel game, unless there's a year that I just that I missed, that I because I was looking through. The first time they had Marvel at Evo was in the year 2000. It wasn't even called Evo back then, and they've had a Marvel game at Evo every single year until 2018. 2018 will be the first year that an Evo does not have Marvel, and it is well deserved, because screw Capcom for the bullshit they tried to pull with this game. But more importantly, outside of Croc-Stack Battle, which we know nothing about, I believe every single one of these games deserves to be at Evo. Say what you want about how janky Injustice 2 is. NetherRealms, they make popular games, maybe not balanced games, but popular games that are fun for casual players, and I feel like there should be a NetherRealms game represented, maybe not every year, but at least frequently. Street Fighter 5 was a lock, as was Smash Bros. Wii U and Melee. Now, some people make the argument for why is there 2 Smash Brothers games, and the answer is very simple. First of all, it's 2 completely different groups that play both games. There's not a lot of carryover between Wii U and Melee. But more importantly, a lot of people play these games. They're like the entrance numbers and the viewer numbers for these games are incredible every year.
This is so specific. This is specifically the reason that I think Evo went, I guess, no MVC or no Marvel, because it was like, we have a certain list and we're like, okay, let's look at Marvel versus Capcom numbers. Let's literally go to Twitch and see what the numbers are of people who are actually watching people play this game. And I have seen numbers pretty much the equivalent to Lawbreakers. And that's really fucking bad. So, like, and somebody pointed out, and this is almost, it's funny to me, because this is the same situation where I feel Marvel is, in which its competitor, which I think we can all agree, its biggest competitor as a 3v3 fighter was Dragon Ball, right? And this is where it's like, it is the equivalent of Overwatch, like, releasing its beta on the launch of Battleborn. Like Marvel got annihilated due to Dragon Ball, and it has a lot to do with just the, not even just the basic, like, just how both games were handled, is that Dragon Ball is the kind of game that you could literally know nothing about fighting games, but you could have fun watching people play it, because you just enjoy the show and you enjoy, like, the visuals. With Marvel's situation, the game, and you've said on this podcast, the gameplay is good. Like, the systems in the game are great, but the game looks like ass. And the whole, and a part of the biggest aspects of Evo is people want to watch cool shit on the screen. So if cool shit on the screen isn't happening, and then they're not going to have it at Evo. So
yeah, I'll disagree with you a little bit on your points. I agree with most of the stuff you said, but I don't think Dragon Ball FighterZ is what killed Infinite. My joke was always that you can't kill what's already dead. Capcom is what killed Marvel's Capcom Infinite. Dragon Ball, like, here's the thing. People watched that that E3 trailer for Marvel's Capcom Infinite, and they were already disappointed, right?
Yeah.
Then they went to the Microsoft press conference, and they saw Dragon Ball FighterZ, and they were like, oh, this game is awesome. It wasn't a situation where people were like, oh, Infinite looks cool, and then they saw FighterZ and they were like, but this looks so much better. It was like, Infinite looks like trash. And then the Soulfighters are like, well, okay, we're just gonna go over here. But the other thing I'm gonna say is that I feel like it wasn't Infinite it wasn't Fighters that replaced Infinite. It was Cross Tag Battle. That was the big surprise for me.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Interesting. Interesting.
I'm not gonna say that the game doesn't deserve to be there. We don't know. The game isn't out yet. But I didn't think I thought that they would pick Infinite over Cross Tag Battle. But the dude came out and he said afterwards, he was like that we pick games based on who's playing them, and no one's playing Infinite right now.
Yeah.
No one's playing Cross Tag Battle either, but there's probably a higher chance of people playing Cross Tag Battle than Infinite.
Yeah, I mean, like, if despite Cross Tag's Battle's bullshit, like, the game looks better to watch. And I think that's, and I think it becomes, and it's like the guy said, it's like we looked at the numbers and we were looking at what does our audience want from EVO? What do they want to see? And it's like, well, there's more people who are more interested in Cross Tag Battle than they are in MVC. And it's funny because I think another reason that Cross Tag Battle is that there's probably some people who are interested, the Ruby fans. There's probably a lot of Ruby fans who are like, I want to see somebody like fucking do sick combos with like Blake or Yang or something like that. Well, probably not Blake or Yang, but more like Weiss or Ruby. So there's also that aspect as well. But yeah, it is crazy. But yeah, I guess you are right in the sense where Cross Tag Battle definitely took that spot. It was probably a tie. It was probably that those were the two that it was either one was going to get kicked or the other. I feel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The only I will say I agree with you in the sense that it was directly Capcom's fault for why Marvel versus Capcom failed. It was mismanagement of the resources, the advertising, and how the game was handled as a whole. I just want to point out that I feel like basically Dragon Ball came along and stomped the corpse into dust. Like that was basically it. And I feel like that was that was the contributing factor from my perspective.
Yeah, Dragon Ball existing did not help. For example, I would have probably bought Infinite if Dragon Ball FighterZ wasn't coming out. It would have been a situation where I would just begrudgingly bought it because I'm like, okay, well the game looks like trash and the roster shit. But the gameplay is fun, so sure, why not? I'll give it a shot. But when FighterZ got announced, then I was like, shit, I'll just wait. I'll wait the extra months, and I'll just buy this game that looks like the developers gave a shit versus this game that looks like shit. And here's the big thing, and this is something I never thought I would see. There are three, if you count Dragon Ball FighterZ, 3 Arc System Works games at EVO, 1 Capcom game.
Yeah. That's a fucking weird universe that we're living in right now. Because I like EVO is like EVO and Capcom are like peanut butter and jelly. Like that's just what happens. That's just Capcom usually has their big fighter games at EVO, and this is like the first year in which their presence is not felt as much because they have Street Fighter, and that's it.
Yeah. In 2002, I think. Look at we had Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, Capcom vs. SNK, Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, Marvel vs. Cap. Wait, what? Okay, this is in here twice. Oh no, I'm looking at the wrong year. But the Capcom EVO has been Capcom's tournament for a very, very, very long time. This is the least amount of representation Capcom has had at EVO ever. And like I'm not complaining. I think this is good. This is good for Capcom because it shows them that you can't just get away with it. You can't just release trash and expect us to just buy it because it's Capcom, right? Yeah, when EVO was announced, in 2000 there were 5 Capcom games. And then there've been 4 Capcom games at EVO. In 2010, most recently there were 5 Capcom games. And it's been between 2 and 3 for the past couple of years. This is going to be the lowest it's going to be. Now, it's not going to go lower than 1 because Street Fighter is always going to be at EVO. Yeah. The year Street Fighter is not at EVO, that's the year Capcom needs to start selling off its stock because something has gone horribly wrong.
Oh, God. Like it's such a weird timeline that we're in, where it's like, but it feels justified in the sense where it's like, okay, like this is almost a good thing in a real fucked up way, because this tells Capcom that they need to be on the ball. They need to actually take their
Yeah.
time to release their fighters, because like when you think about it, like there's so much more positivity with Arcade Edition for Street Fighter V, because it feels like what should have come out, and it feels more complete, and people were happy to support
Yeah.
it. And that's the thing. People are happy to support a full game. They're happy to support a game that you can tell that there's time and effort for it being put into it. Like hell,
Who would have thought?
even look at Monster Hunter. Fucking Monster Hunter World has
Fucking
so
Monster
much
Hunter.
fucking time put into it, and it's clearly paid dividends for them. It is the best-selling Monster Hunter game in the entire series.
6 million copies shipped in 2 weeks. Like, would you look at that? Would
Yeah.
you look at that?
Yeah.
Who,
Ain't
who
that
would have
crazy?
thought?
Ain't that crazy? So I hope that with this, that this means, and I hope with the success of like, hey, Arcade Edition and Monster Hunter World did really well because we took our time and actually released a really high quality product. Maybe we should start doing that again.
Yeah, the excuse me, the producer at Capcom released a statement on some bullshit talking about how, yeah, we need to start Q&A tasting our games better before release. And I'm sitting there like, no shit, Sherlock, no fucking shit. And like, this is just bullshit, because they said the same thing after Street Fighter V came out. They were like, oh, this that was shameful, and we won't do that again. And then literally like a year later, they give us Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. So for me, I tell them to eat shit,
Yeah.
until I see some goddamn progress and y'all start stepping your shit up. And
Yeah.
this is specifically for the fighting game division. But he said it in reference to Dead Rising 4, or whatever the most
Oh
recent Dead
God.
Rising is.
Yeah, I remember that. I named that podcast "Dead on Arrival" because I think nobody cared about Dead Rising 4.
Like, the funniest comments I read about Dead Rising was this one dude when the game was coming out on PS4. He was like, "I'm so excited Dead Rising is coming out on PS4. Not because I want to play it, but because now when I shit on the game, people won't just say I'm doing it because I'm a PS4 fanboy."
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, Capcom, step your shit up. All this is a wake up call, and you realize that you can't just feed us manure and expect us to scarf it down with a big smile on our face. I hope we don't see a Marvel vs. Capcom game at Evo for a very long time. And on the flip side, on a more positive note, I'm really happy. I'm really happy for Arc Systems. Like
Yeah.
I sit the like I was okay. Let me just say this. I don't think Arc Systems work is perfect. I think they do a lot of things that I wish they didn't do. I think they killed the Guilty Gear community by constantly re-releasing the game as opposed to like patching the goddamn game like a normal developer.
Yeah.
And I think they do something that they get away with that Capcom would never get away with, and that's charging for patches. Now,
Yeah.
I mean, they don't charge for patches. They package patches with content updates, which I think is inexcusable.
Mhm.
And they're not doing it with the new patch for Guilty Gear, but still, I need to throw that out there.
Yeah.
With that said, I still think Arc System Works is a very good fighting game developer. I think Guilty Gear is the best fighting game on the market right now.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to see them finally getting some success. Dragon Ball FighterZ has sold really well, not as much as Monster Hunter, but it sold really well. And now they've got they've got 3 games that they developed, because they sort of developed the game. They've got 3 games that they developed at Evo. This is the most representation Arc System Works has had at Evo ever.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm happy for it, and hopefully they keep up the good work. Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle fiasco notwithstanding, hopefully they learn from that
Yeah.
and they don't repeat that mistake. Shout out to Arc Systems Works.
Yeah.
It's not perfect, but you're pretty damn good. So yeah.
Dragon Ball was a pretty good start. I can say that because I personally, hey, guess what? Haven't bought a fighting game in years, and then Dragon Ball was like, yep, gotta get that. So you can tell that clearly they're doing something right if you can convince me to buy one. But yeah, so that will be very interesting to see moving forward, whether Marvel will be back ever again. Probably when Marvel
Bench.
4 comes out. Well, technically, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite is Marvel 4. So basically, when Marvel 5 comes out in like 2 or 3 years, that will be the moment to see, okay, have they learned their lesson? Is this the return of Marvel?
Oh, we might see a Marvel 3 revival. Well, not from Capcom, but from the community. They might do a revival for the game. But that's what happened with Melee, right? Melee was
Yeah.
dead for a very long time, and the community were like, "Yo, let's bring this shit back."
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we see a Marvel 3 revival, and if Marvel 3 starts picking up steam, then I can imagine we'll see that at Evo. But we'll see. Capcom, step your shit up. Stop being a bunch of assholes.
Yeah. Well, speaking of wait, what is my fucking I don't know when I'm fucking doing it. Speaking of assholes who aren't Jay Streets, but he's talking about assholes in his question, which was the link that I was trying to make, but I fucking bumbled that shit to oblivion.
Yeah.
So we have a question of the day from the wonderful, not asshole Jay Streets.
Shout out to Jay Streets.
And he is asking us, since we were talking about esports last week, what do you think should happen to casual and pro esports cheaters?
I think they should be. I don't think permanent bans. I'm never a fan of that. But like, I think they should do the way they do it in sports. Like you have to do something very, very serious for you to get permanently banned from the league. Suspension, straight up suspension. The longest suspension in NBA history was like a full season. Ron Artest ran to the crowd and punched a fan in the face. It's a really cool video. You should check it out. What was it called? Just YouTube Ron Artest. I'm pretty sure it'll be like the first video that comes up. But yeah, he ran into the crowd and he beat up a fan.
Yeah.
But yep, there it is. But outside of that, just give them suspensions, and then just keep increasing the suspension based on the how frequent. So let's go middle of the ground here. Let's say 3-strike policy. Okay, you get caught cheating the first time, very long suspension. Get caught cheating the second time, longer suspension. Third time, you're out. Perma ban, not allowed to play in this league anymore. I think that's fair.
Yeah, I guess that could work for sure. I think it also depends on how serious of the cheating is on display. Like, I think that's also a big factor. Because personally, there's cheating that boosts your overall standing in like a tournament or something like that. And then there's the cheating that like Quackbot did during one of the tournaments.
What did he do?
So basically what happened is that I don't know how specific because I don't follow the fighting game community as much as you do,
okay.
But basically he went into he signed up for one of the one of the things to get into like the main tournament, and he didn't get too far, and then he went again, and basically he was like, wait, what the fuck, why are you here? And he's like, well, you see, my girlfriend, her stick broke, so I'm playing in her place. It's like, no, that's not how that fucking works. And apparently he had been doing that. They found out that he had been doing that for several tournaments. It was only until recently that he finally got caught because somebody who was watching it live on Twitch saw him go up once and then saw him go up again 4 hours later and went, what the fuck? Like under a different name.
Yeah. Yes. So yeah, he entered the tournament twice and he completely ruined the
bracket.
Killer Kai.
Yeah.
Killer Kai was, I think, 1 win away from making top 8, and then they had to redo the bracket because they caught Quackbot. And then, obviously, Killer Kai is frustrated, and then because of the frustration, he then doesn't make it as far as he did. So he was pissed. He was like, yeah, he's never coming back to Canada Cup.
Yeah. And personally, I think that should be a permanent ban. Because that's not even that's literally you fucked it up for everyone. Like absolutely everyone involved got fucked because of you trying to cheat the system that way. If it's like an aimbot or something like that, then that's one thing. Like I think a 3-strike is more than enough. Like, okay, you get your 3 strikes, you got caught once, okay. You got caught twice. If you do this one more time, then you're banned permanently. I feel like that's a relatively fair way to do it. And at least for esports, I think, yeah, I agree. Like, maybe there should be a suspension. Like, it's like, hey, listen, you can't play the game for, like, a full season, or you can't play the game for, like, you can't play the game for, like, a year or something like that. And it's like, until that year is up, we'll let you come back, so you better be on your best behavior. And then it becomes, I feel like with pro esports, it should be like you get one chance, and then then it should be something more permanent, because it's like you're in like a bigger position, and you should really, really know better. Whereas like casual people are like casuals, and they're just gonna do whatever the fuck they want. And there's people who are and I know there's some crazy people. The cheating mentality is fascinating to me. There's people that will spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars kitting their computers and downloading software that basically give them like the most, like, the highest % chance of just victory, like almost like automatic wins in shooters and the like. And like I read an article that was fascinating, which basically interviewed one of these people that it was a renowned cheater, and they basically asked him, why are you putting all this money into doing this? And it was such a simple answer. I don't have fun unless I'm winning. So I spend money so that I'm always winning. It's like, what about the other people? Oh, that I don't care. I'm not having if they're winning, I'm not having fun. And it's such a simple mentality that it was just like
yeah,
that's up there.
Okay.
Yeah, like, yeah, it was a fascinating article to read. I highly recommend, if anyone can find it, go check that out, because it's so fascinating. But as far as like punishment goes, yeah, I think there should be a strike system. But I personally think that it depends on the seriousness of the cheating on display. Like the Quackbot. That was the easiest insta-ban ever.
Yeah, that was pretty messed up.
Oh, God. But great question, J Streets. And if you got a question for us, don't forget to leave it in the comment section. And we'll make sure to answer in the next podcast. And as always, this is your host, Room of Liberty, and...
Well, it's Muhammad Yusuf.
And we'll see you guys next time. Thank you.